Okay, for every single CPA firm out there, there's that one season, the one I'm talking about, where it feels less like accounting and more like you're trying to hold back a tidal wave. Yeah, I'm talking about tax season, that ultimate stress test of your firm's efficiency and, let's be honest, everyone's sanity. Does this scene look a little too familiar? That mountain of paperwork, that frantic race against a clock that just seems to tick faster and faster? If you're nodding along right now, trust me, you are not alone. It really is the perfect storm, isn't it? The workload just piles up, which of course leads to those brutal, long hours. The IRS deadlines, well, they're non-negotiable. Meanwhile, the phone is ringing off the hook with client questions. And through all of that chaos, the pressure to be perfectly accurate is so intense that it leaves absolutely zero time for the kind of high-value strategic advisory work that actually grows your firm. But what if that whole dynamic could change? Seriously, what if you could completely reimagine your tax season workflow? Well, a lot of forward-thinking firms are already doing exactly that, and they're adopting a much more modern, more strategic approach. The solution we're talking about is offshore tax preparation. So what does that really mean? It means you're outsourcing specific tax prep tasks to qualified professionals in another country. And let's be super clear about this. They're not just some random third party. They act as a true extension of your team, and they come in already trained in U.S. tax law, IRS regulations, and the exact same software you're using every day. So what kind of work can you hand off? We're talking about the foundational and often really time-consuming tasks. Things like individual 1040s, corporate and partnership returns, all the way down to the nitty-gritty of detailed work paper prep and financial data reconciliation. The whole idea is to clear the routine tasks off your team's plate so they can focus on the higher-level stuff. So how does this actually help in practice? Well, the secret lies in something called the 24-hour advantage. And this, right here, is where the strategy becomes incredibly powerful. Here's the core idea, and it's pretty brilliant. By leveraging teams in different time zones, you basically eliminate downtime. Your firm's productivity is no longer stuck in a 9 to 5 window. When your U.S. office is closing down for the day, another part of your team is just getting started. Just imagine this workflow for a second. At the end of your day, your team securely uploads all the client documents. Then, overnight, while you're at home, the offshore team takes over and prepares the returns. What's the result? You walk into the office the next morning and there's a queue of completed drafts just sitting there, ready for your final review. This continuous cycle translates directly into some huge operational benefits. All of a sudden, you can handle a much higher volume of returns without completely overwhelming your people. This drastically cuts down on the pressure and the burnout that's so common during tax season. It frees up your best staff for that complex, client-facing work, and hey, with faster turnaround times, your clients are happier. It's really a win-win-win situation. Now, you might be thinking, well, why not just hire some seasonal help? That's a fair question. Let's compare them. Seasonal hires are expensive. You've got recruitment, training, salary, and it's all incredibly time-consuming. Offshore services, on the other hand, are way more cost-effective with almost no onboarding time. But the biggest difference here is flexibility. You can scale your support up or down literally on demand, something you just can't do with a fixed-term hire. Okay, let's get to it. Let's address the big question, the elephant in the room that I know is on everyone's mind. When you're dealing with this kind of sensitive financial information, you have to talk about security and control. This is it, right? This is, without a doubt, the #1 concern, and it absolutely should be. Can you really trust an outside team with confidential client data? It is a critical question. The short answer is that any reputable offshore service makes security their absolute top priority. We're talking about strict, standardized measures like secure file transfer systems, fully encrypted data storage, access-controlled work environments where only authorized people can get in, and legally binding confidentiality agreements with every single staff member. But here is the most critical point to understand about security, so listen close. You never, ever give up control. Your firm always maintains full and total control over the final review and the filing. The offshore team prepares the drafts, but your expertise is the final gatekeeper before anything ever reaches a client or the IRS. So, when you put all of this together, you start to realize that this is about so much more than just surviving the busy season. It's about gaining a real long-term strategic advantage.
I love this quote because it just reframes the entire idea perfectly. This isn't just some temporary patch to get you through a few hectic months. For a lot of firms, this is becoming a fundamental part of how they operate all year round, giving them a level of agility they've just never had before.
A model like this helps you build a more resilient firm for the future. You can manage workloads effectively all year, not just during tax season. You gain incredible operational flexibility, and you can scale up to handle a growing client list without the massive fixed costs of hiring new permanent staff. It's all about growing smarter, not just bigger. So I'll just leave you with this question to think about. When you really look at your own operations, are they built on that old model of just gritting your teeth and pushing through the crunch? Or are you building a firm that's flexible, scalable, and truly ready for the future of accounting?